As you know, this week's Parsha talks about Moshe Haya Anav Mikol Adam Asher Al Pnei Ha'adama. So, first thing that we need to understand that there's only one shvach that the Torah was able to say about Moshe Rabbeinu, that he's Anav Mikol Adam. He was the biggest Navi that ever lived, and every shvach shaykh to say.
And it does say.
What?
Yeah, it does say, but like, come Navi.
Okay, then it does say like coming, but okay, but that's okay. But anyways, but the main shvach that it says is that he was the biggest anav. So everybody told him, talk about Vasebis Anava, and of course everyone will tell you that Anava is the most important midah that can be. So I'm sticking to that. But I want to just add like two nekudas, not a big deal. Nekuda Aleph is that Pasuk says there's a shla. He brings down that there are two types of toiv. There's a toiv with a chaylam and a toiv with a shuruk. What's the difference? How do you see that there's a difference? So he says that toiv is toiv li tairas picha. And Tov is Tov Tam Vadas Lamdeni. So one is the Tov that's Begilui, and one is the Tov that's Behelim. How do you see that? Because since Tov is, Tov Tam Vadas Lamdeni, and we know that Das is considered Moichin, and Moichin are not Begilui, so therefore Tov Tam Vadas. So therefore you know that it's Behelim, it's not Begilui. Masha'en Kain, Toiv li Tairas Picha, Taira is Begilui. So therefore you see that the Toiv with a Chaylam is Begilui, and Tov without a Chaylam is Behelim. Now as we know that one of the Pshatim in Moshe Rabbeinu, that he was, head and shoulders, I don't know what the word is, above everybody else, is because brought down that every person, every bria has its kenegdai in the elyonim. Just like there's you here b'tachtainim, so it has you also b'elyonim. And obviously the elyonim is much, much higher than the tachtainim, because that's kulei ruchni. There's no taivas haguf up in the elyonim, right? We don't need Shalom Thursday night. And so, Masha'en Kain, in the Tachtainim, we have all the Taivas HaGuf. We're physical. So first of all, there's boundaries and everything, and us too. There's always boundaries, which makes it Midas Hadin. In the Al-Yanim, there's no boundaries, right? I've said this many times, just as a mashal. I heard it from my cousin Shlomo. He says, when you go to the ocean, let's say, you want to see as far as you could see, right? So you could see 2 miles, 3 miles, whatever you could see. He says, but if you close your eyes, you can see from Seifa Eilam V'ad Seifa. What's the pshat? Because when you close your eyes, you're in the Bechina of Moichin. So Moichin is Ruchni. Ruchni, there's no end, there's no limit to it. So what was the mile of Moshe Rabbeinu over everybody else? The mile of Moshe Rabbeinu was that he was Shava B'Shava the Elyon and the Tachtin. As I state. Where did I see it? Baal Shem Tov. I don't know if I'm allowed to quote him, but he says he was Shava be'elyon u'betachtain, which that for Yulud Isha is basically not shaykh. You know that Moshe Rabbeinu only went up to the Mem Tes Sharebina. He didn't go to the Nun, because Nun is Kulei Ruchni. If you become 100% Ruchni, you're at a point of no return. So now, what is the connection between this Toiv and Moshe Rabbeinu being Shava b'Shava Elyon and Tachtain? So
there's no psik.
What?
Moshe.
Oh, because it says Moshe. Right. There's no psik. Right. That's exactly the word. That was the raya that he brought Yishkayach. 1 second. What I wanted to show you was, I'm looking at a Shari Oira. What?
He's saying since he was Shabbat, that's true.
So by Moshe Rabbeinu, there was a Tov, there was a Galui and an Is, there was a Tov and a Tam. So how do you see Tov by Moshe Rabbeinu? Where do you see that? So Aval Mashat Tzarech to just Bain Binyan Moshe Rabbeinu Avashalom. Shene'amar boy when he was born, Vateire Oisai Ki Taiv Hu. Shahayadavak b'midazu lefichach nismalik kol habayis kulei oira. Now Moshe Rabbeinu was kulei taiv. So this explains why Moshe Rabbeinu was kulei taiv, because he was the helem and the gilui both together. And so that's why he was called taiv. It was tuv and taiv because taiv li tairas picha, everything is tairas Moshe, and he had the helem also because the tuv tam vadas lamdeni. And Moshe was also, since he was the Rabbi Shal Kol Bnei Hagayla, so that's the Lamdeni, is Tuv Tam Vadas Lamdeni. And perhaps you could say that the Tuv Tam Vadas is representing, it's not the four Chelkei HaTorah of Paradise, but it's representing, the Das would obviously be the Sod Shabai, and I'm not really sure what the difference between Drush and Remez is anyhow. So the Torah, we know, Drush and Remez, not sure of the Chilik. So, I'm not Chas v'Shalom saying there's Gimel Chalakim, but there's Dalech Chalakim, but Tum Tam Vadas Lamdeni is representing every part of the Torah, obviously including the Das, because Das is Moshe. So now going back to how does it work with Anova? Why is Anova considered Dafka Toiv over all the other Midas? Because Rashi says, and when it says Vayish Moshe Hayanav Mikol Adam, Rashi says Shafel v'Savla. So what's Taich according to Rashi? What's Taich in Anav? Taich in Anav is that he was a Savlan and a Shafel. L'chayr is Shver. Moshe was the most chashuv guy in Gans Klal Yisrael who ever lived, right? How could you say he was a Shafel v'Savlan? So I think that the pshat is like this. Moshe Rabbeinu was Olel Elikim. He sat in Shemayim 40 days, right? He saw everything. He was Kulei Ruchni, right? So he realized that for a Yulud Isha to have any shayches to was Tutzach in Shemayim is not possible. So mitzad that, it's pashut that he was a Shafel v'Savlan. Because you go into Ruchni, no person can have any real musagim what's going on up in the Elyonim. It's not shaykh to us. But since he was mekusher Elyon and Tachtain, so the same midah of Anova that he had in the Elyonim, so he was able to translate it to the Tachtainim, that it should be a Shafel v'Savlan on this world as well. So that's why that was his great shvach, because if you think about it, he was so chashuv and so great, so he should have been the biggest Balgaiva. But fakir, because he knew that he was, he wasn't chelik of the Elyonim, but he was a Yulad Isha who saw us tutzach by the Elyonim, so he realized, and everybody who, saying on us and everybody, once you go a little bit into a place where, in Ruchni, so you realize that everything is nothing. Nothing counts. The only thing that counts is more Ruchni. And then, so once a person realizes what's going on, so it's Dava Pashut. It's not a Shvach that you're a Anav. How else? Does nothing make sense? Right? So Mikol Adam is the only Chiddush, because you're sitting in the yeshiva next to a guy who knows how to learn better than you, so on him, I could be a Balgaiva. Kamash Malon, yeah, you think you know something? That the Torah is so vast and so deep, so Moshe Rabbeinu was connected to Elyonim Tachtainim, so by him it wasn't shaykh. Okay.